All right. Afternoon, everyone. Another lovely day. My first video actually shut the fuck down. I don't know what the fuck happened. So I'm doing another video on this. And it should actually be working. Apparently my fucking GoPro crashed. God, that was such a good video, but whatever. I'll do it again. First thing I started out was the disclaimer. I know based off the events that happened yesterday, there are gonna be a lot of bullshit conspiracies that are gonna come out like, it's the end of the world. Look, I told you it's gonna be the last president. Look, I want to go, blah, blah, blah. Specifically to these niggas like Spiritual Soul and King Pharaoh. These are fake informed niggas. They may say some things that are truthful, but based off of most of the shit that they say being bullshit, I would not recommend listening to any of the fear mongering they're going to engage in. Let me be a person to try and bring people back to reality that regardless of how much you're going to see civil disobedience from Republicans, if they go hard enough, they will be stopped, period. When it comes to being an outsider or trying to go against the state, most of the time, you do not have more power than the state. You don't. That's just the reality. Oh, what's up? Oh, by the way, I'm in front of a nice little church. This is a nice background. I like this. You'll never do more than the state. Whatever people are gonna say, oh, the war's gonna end. Wait till the 20th. All of it's going to go similar to Black Lives Matter when some of the people were engaging in violent protests, right? What you're going to see is you'll get a warning from the government or the state, or the police who are doing whatever they're doing, warning you that any of these actions that you continue to take while they're warning you, you must heed their warning, otherwise they're going to hurt you. This is going to be something that happens with the Trump supporters, and they got warnings yesterday, and it happened with BLM. If you push too hard enough to the state and they see they have to escalate the things that they have to do to stop you from doing something, you're not gonna win. When it comes to the world and it comes to running shit, when it comes to governments, there are always two sets of people, right? When it comes to the government, there are the people who, when it comes to the government, if you look around the world and like this is not deep Illuminati shit, none of that dumb shit. But in terms of controlling a state, there are the people who speak, and then there are also the people who enforce the law, right? These work hand in hand, right? These work hand in hand. There's always the people who speak, give the messaging, and then based off of these laws and the things they write down, there are the individuals who fundamentally assert violence, fundamentally assert physical violence, fundamentally assert the idea to modify your behavior with force, right? When you break a law, you can do whatever you want with the law, but another thing that plays into you not breaking the law are the consequences, right? So, and essentially everything that's done is a law, is a form of violence, right? You know, when libertarians say, you know, taxes are a form of theft, they are right. That is a action that is trying to modify your behavior, which you may not agree to. That's 1,000,000% correct. The term a terrorist is used for people who are non-state actors. There's a system. There are people who say what is good and bad. There are people who live under that system. There are people who have consequences, who are the arbiter. They have the consequences for what you do if you do something that is what they say is not acceptable. And that is law enforcement. That is the police state. That is, again, the enforcers, the people who use their... I know I'm not... this is not the terminology, if I'm mistaken, but I'm talking about conceptually. You're always going to see them hand in hand. If you even ever see things like Arab Spring, Arab Winter, the Syrian Civil War, anything where the public engages in forms of civil disobedience, where the arbiter, where they live, is going to determine if it's good or bad, the people who have the military on their side are the people who win, right? Because they have the most power. When someone who's a terrorist is arbitrary, right? And the reason why I want to go over that and speak about, you know, good and bad, whoever controls it determines that, and, you know, just the concept, regardless of law, when you look at what happened yesterday and what may happen again the 20th, it seems like there's a double standard. When you see people responding to these forms of civil disobedience, the idea is you now get the implication about what they believe is good and bad. Now, in a place like the United States or anywhere, this is just a framework in terms of the law. But when the person is in power, that is going to show what they can do, right? This is why we've went into other countries and stopped them. We've went into other countries because of this, right? We've went into... I'm fucking with this. Oh, okay, still doing it. We've went into other countries with other people, right? Why? They're dictators, right? They control their people. What they say they do, they really don't do. In the United States, that's kind of been the same. But what we saw yesterday was double standard. We saw that white people are able to engage in civil disobedience or some form of breaking the law. And when it comes to the government responding, they give a lax response based off of what the people are fighting for. Many people may be compelled to break the law based off their beliefs. So it's never really about why they're destroying shit, why they're rioting. It's more important to pay attention to why they're doing it. It is also important to pay attention to the fact that they're willing to destroy it, because when you destroy people's property, that's just a net negative. But the main thing is determining, damn, like, why the fuck are they destroying shit? People are willing to riot because of conspiracy theories, and people are willing to riot because of conspiracy theories with the idea that the election was fake. There's no proof of this. That is not even just to break the law. When it comes to people doing things that are going to go against the state regardless, right? If the consequences may mean that the person who's above them, who owns the system, is gonna say, no, we stop you with our force, with our hands, right? It's important to, again, analyze why they feel this way. The fact that the government was willing to have a lax response based off of who's in power and sacrifice the integrity of what we have as a country and what we push for, the fact that they didn't do this with BLM shows you the president, right? It shows you where they stand, and it also shows you where many Republicans stand. Donald Trump, people constantly called BLM people terrorists. They called people who are BLM hooligans, thugs. I didn't see any of this spoken about any of the people who were white, who were protesting. It's a double standard. Now let's extend it. You saw people of different races coming together for police brutality. All of those people were lumped in a ball. That never happened with Republicans. Now I'm already seeing people denying that it was Republicans who fucking are crawling up walls. Like, you can easily see now, based off yesterday, white privilege and the double standard that exists between even up running a country. And unfortunately, when there should be a clear message in terms of it being an impartial thing which upholds democracy and all of these things and moves in, you know, in helping many people, you don't see it. Because many of the police officers have been infiltrated, right? You saw an example of what the government does or what people in power do with white supremacy. White supremacy has been rampant. Donald Trump has ramped this up in the last 4 years. Mitch McConnell didn't do anything about it. Barr didn't do anything about it. Many people who resigned didn't do anything about it. Kevin McCarthy said he's against what's going on right now. Wasn't Kevin McCarthy the one who tweeted things about people buying the election with the picture showing only Jewish people? Wasn't he running a conspiracy theory about Jews running an election, which is literally anti-Semitism, which is what like Nazis and white supremacists push for, who are Trump supporters? Why are all of a sudden these people all of a sudden have engaged in like the opposite behavior due to like the bad of like him like committing like an attack? But think about it. I'd say look about it another way. I said in one of my earlier videos, and I'm gonna re-upload shit because like it becomes more apparent, like when Republicans don't have an excuse, or when things stop working for Republicans, they'll cut them off. This is what I said. I said this months ago, I said this years ago, because this is usually how politics works, right? You have career politicians. So the idea is with Trump, eventually when he was gonna keep doing, when he continued doing stupid shit, the state, they're not gonna stand for it. You saw earlier all earlier examples of this with Trump. You saw it with Jamie Dimon, you saw it with Bolton, you saw it with Mattis, you saw it with Mattis. You saw, who else did you see it with? Oh, hold on. You saw it with Mattis. You saw it with Colin Powell. You saw it with Bolton. All these people who were lauded within the Republican community at one time. Donald Trump was able to be so smart and engage in so much strong populism that overnight, many of these people became demons. These people were all part of the Republican Party. These people have engaged in the most propaganda, the most fear-mongering, the most bullshit arguments to justify joining the military to die for shit like oil. They've done this for so long. But what did you see from the beginning, from an early stage? That Donald Trump was doing things that they even didn't like, and they had to come out against it. That says enough when the demons on your side, who are known for being demons, don't even fuck with you. Jane Chaney did this. Donald Rumsfeld did this. Like there was the recent letter where niggas like Donald Rumsfeld are like, yo, y'all need to get this nigga out. Why? Because in the insanity, the terrible shit that is going on with America right now that still exists, it's not as bad as it is with President Trump. So again, you know, the gerrymandering, the fear mongering, the demonizing people for Black Lives Matter, upholding white supremacy.